All right, so I can find the, here it is. So I will post this solution eventually. Not quite yet. I need a couple people to take the quiz. They haven't taken it yet. But I won't wait too long. Let's see here. So where's my... I thought I brought my laser up here. Where'd I put it? Oh, there. All right, so I asked you, this is basically the first problem in the homework, right? Yes. But I changed the formulas, of course. And to start with, x squared minus 6x plus 7. I can complete the square. I get x minus 3 squared minus 2. And that then factors like this by the difference of squares pattern. So I can see from this that the vertex is at 3 minus 2. And from these, I can see x-intercepts of 3 plus or minus root 2, which is why I mentioned these facts over here on the board. I meant, full disclosure, I meant to flip the 6 and the 7 here, which would have made the x-intercepts work out to what? Integers, right? Like 1 and 7, or minus 1 and, let's see here. Yeah, 1 and 7 would have been if I had flipped the numbers 6 and 7. Anyway, so that's that one. The discriminant here worked out to 8, which is positive, which makes sense because we were able to factor it, right? When the discriminant's positive, that indicates that the quadratic can be factored, and also that there's two x-intercepts, right? 2 solutions to the quadratic equation equal to 0. For part B, again, completed the square, but this time it ends up being plus 1, right? So that means that I can't factor it over the reals. Of course, the discriminant works out to minus 4, which is less than 0, indicating we cannot factor over r, but I can tell you the vertex is at 2, 1, and y-intercept from this is clear. The y-intercept is at 5, and so that's pretty much all I need to then graph like that. This, I'm hoping a lot of you got this right. It was like the first homework problem, so I think most of you spent time on it, right? Problem 2 is an easier version of a homework problem, right? The homework problem, it was like 4th order, so it was kind of a pain to actually multiply it out, right? This one is less of a pain because it's just, you have a crossing which gives you x minus 3, a bounce which gives you x plus 2 squared, and so then if you multiply this out, you should get a minus 12 over here. That's actually the only number that matters. If you got these things wrong, it won't hurt you in finding the a, but then it'll hurt you in your final answer, of course. But there it is. Now, of course, I could have also written minus 5/6 times x minus 3 times x plus 2 squared here. That would have also been a legitimate answer because I didn't say write the formula of p of x in standard form, right? So I have to allow for answers which look like this or answers which look like that, but a is put equal to minus 5/6. I mean, there's other possibilities on how to write the answer. Any questions? Yeah, well, you just jump in if you got a question, all right?
So if we wrote that first thing, then we didn't get it wrong, right?
I'll probably give you like half credit for that. I mean, a good part of it is figuring out that a has to be minus 5/6, so, you know. Now, the next two problems are kind of just the part of it. I hope everybody got these. So it bounces at minus 4, it bounces at 4. You got an x plus 4 squared factor and an x minus 4 squared factor, so you got this.
I'm gonna do more.
What's that?
I'm gonna do more.
No. I don't, well, what else could you do?
I thought you were supposed to, or at first I thought you were supposed to be more down as it's square.
Oh, okay. Okay, I gotcha. And this one, we've got a crossing at minus 6. We've got a crossing at minus 2, a crossing at 4. So I can just use x plus 6 times x plus 2 times x minus 4, like that. And it looks like x cubed overall, so it's got the right sign, right? So.
Okay, on the first one,
Mhm.
3, I don't know why I included the x in
I don't know either.
the middle. I got to,
You got.
that right
So you have given me more than I asked for.
there. It's still, yeah.
But unfortunately, you can't multiply this by x because there's no. It's not a.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I still should get some credit because I
I'm
got
good.
the other one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you get some credit. Yes. Let's see here.
I had an A. Is that?
What?
I feel like the A.
A? Oh, you put an A in here?
Yeah, I can solve for like. I thought it
Oh,
was
I mean, you could multiply these by whatever A as long as it's positive. Sure. I probably wouldn't count off against that. It kind of depends on what you wrote, but you know, from the sound of it, I wouldn't count off. This one here. So to show that minus 1 is a 0, we just plug minus 1 in, and we get 0 from evaluating the polynomial at minus 1. And then I factored x squared out of the first two terms, and I factored a minus 4 out of the last two terms, right? And that gives me x squared minus 4 times x plus 1. But x squared minus 4 factors to x minus 2 times x plus 2, right? And if I had asked you to factor completely, then this would be the answer, right? But what did I ask? I said find all other zeros of p of x. So really, the answer would be 2 and minus 2, right? And of course, the minus 1, which you're given. But those are all the zeros of p of x. Problem 6, factor this fourth order polynomial. Hint, f of I is equal to 0. So if f of I is equal to 0, that means that x squared plus 1 is a factor of f of x. So then we can use long division to figure out what the other thing is, right? So divide by x squared plus 1, I get x squared plus 7 plus 7x, and then finally plus 6. So we get that. And then, of course, x squared plus 7x plus 6 factors to x plus 1 times x plus 6. So there you go. Sounds like people lost some points here. Am I right? Yeah.
Well, we had to do the
Oh, you just straight factored it? Ah, cool. Have I heard of? I mean, I got a couple different curves on this class. I mean, I got this one up here. I got this one here. I got. Does my wife? That's a fantastic question. Does my wife like me? I mean, she married me, so I would hope so.
I didn't even know they were asking me that.
It's not like, an obsession with math is a newfound thing for me. But yeah, my wife's smarter than me, for sure. Any not stupid man would give you that answer. You're a guy, I can be honest with you. Moving on. The rational zeros or rational roots theorem, we take factors of the constant divided by factors of the leading coefficient, right? And for here, that gives me these, which I think is this list. Now, of course, you could write it with plus or minus, like plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus a third, plus or minus 2/3. I think that's it. Did I miss anything? I sometimes miss stuff in these. Did I miss anything? Hopefully not. Well, I mean, if I miss something, some student smarter than I will point out the case I missed.
I got one of those.
You got one of those? Well, that's good. Let's see here. Now this one is also like a homework problem, right? X cubed minus 4x squared minus 7x plus 10. I tell you it has real zeros, which are integers. And so the rational roots theorem here, since the leading coefficient's just 1, we just have to look at factors of the constant coefficient divided by plus or minus 1, right? Which gives us plus or minus 2, plus or minus 5, plus or minus 10 as possible zeros. And in fact, 1 as well as minus 2 and 5 are actual zeros when we plug them in. So that gives me x minus 1, x plus 2, x minus 5. I don't even have to actually try to factor it. I just write it down because that logically follows from this data right here. And of course, you can check this times this times this. It gives me the leading coefficient of x cubed. So I don't need like some kind of scale factor or anything like that.
And so if I didn't check all of them,
No, you don't have to check all of them. I'm just illustrating.
like, so if I only got
I was very unlucky here in my guessing, right? Because
What if I just said x minus 5? How much would you give me?
you just said x minus 5.
Yep.
Well, that's like a third of the answer.
What if I didn't?
But on the other hand, just saying p of x equals to x minus 5 is mildly offensive to me. So because it's cubic. Like you have to have 3 x's.
It's still something.
I mean, it's something.
That
Like
should be 2 points.
that should be 2 points.
At least one.
You guys,
Honestly, just give us 100.
just give you 100.
Because we did it. Like, I mean,
Oh my goodness, you guys are funny. All right, so problem 9. Problem 9, we can factor x.
That problem was even on there.
I ain't see that problem.
That wasn't on there. I swear it was not on there.
That problem was not on there.
That wasn't even on there. I swear it was. We're not lying.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Oh, that is
Hey,
not.
people must have been or something. Didn't even check.
What?
thank you, Jesus.
Hey, you guys were very, very quiet about the problems going from number 8 to number 12. I believe there exists a student here who noticed that
I ain't gonna lie.
and who made a choice not to tell me.
So we get points for that, right? That's not our fault. That's your fault.
From 9 to whatever we missed, we should get credit for those.
Which one did you guys all get wrong?
The
You
highest
can't give
one.
us 2 points.
Because I should add weight to that problem.
You can't give us 2 points. It's just 2 points.
You know, honestly,
Y'all already know curve
We
out
went
curve.
from- we went from 8 to
Man,
on the 10.
honestly, like,
It's
all this stuff in my notes, so
We went from 8 to 12.
I will figure something out for the grading. Don't make me say anything at the
We should just
moment.
get all that credit.
Let me,
Well, I did think
Oh,
let,
my God.
let me,
Your mistake, you get 100.
my mistake, you get 100.
I mean, like, it's not-
Yeah. All right, so
I ain't gonna lie, I did think that
We just like 4 problems.
this could have happened to you if not for the humidity in this building at the moment, right?
Grace of God right there.
If we had a better HVAC technician in here, I don't know.
That's how I know this.
So I can factor x squared out of this because it's got x to the 4th, x cubed, x squared. Factor x squared out, then complete the square, and then that is plus, so it factors as complex. The next one is a quartic. It factors like so, and then this gives me these real factors, and x squared plus 1 factors is x minus I times x plus I. I would encourage you to notice that like completing the square always gives us basically almost always gives us these 2 possibilities. The other possibility is that beta is 0, right? And then it's already factored. But if beta is non-zero, it's either plus or it's minus. If it's plus, it introduces an I in the factorization. If it's minus, it just factors like this. So if you understand these 2 patterns, you ought to be able to factor any quadratic, really. Anyway, I will post this solution as well as the blank test so you can, try it. Think of, and see if you'd actually have gotten it if not for the Man, you guys are so lucky. Look at what you missed. Son of a gun. Oh, you guys, I have the worst luck today.
Oh, geez.
All right, so this is, I was like, how do you guys finish in this quiz so fast? Like it would have taken you all 45 minutes. This page was, if this page was on there, anyway.
I wasn't finished.
So we factor and then use the sign chart, and then so the answer is 0 to 1, 3 to infinity for this one. Please do look at these. Some of these are the sort of easier versions of a homework problem you had. This one, I think, is an easier version of a homework problem you had, maybe. Look, by the way, I almost had this problem, but with a 1 here instead of a 0. How would have that changed things if I put a 1 here instead of a 0?
Oh, you'd have to add one on the other side, right?
Right, you got to move it all to one side and like make a common denominator. You'd have to do algebra before you could do the sign chart stuff. So if it's a 1 there, you got to think about it. You say, please do that on the test. I hear you, and I will. Is Kimberly, is it? We'll call it Kimberly's problem. No? No? I like that at all? All right, let's see here. All right, so here's the one that I did actually have you guys do. Here's the one, let me restate that more carefully. Here's the one that I tried to get you to do. So this one has leading coefficients of 2 over 1. So the y equals to 2 is the horizontal asymptote. If you didn't write this stuff, you do not lose credit, okay? This is just extra. So when you factor the numerator and the denominator, there's an x minus 4 which cancels out, which speaks to the fact that there's a whole at 4. And we got 2x over x plus 6 is the reduced function. The whole then is at 4 comma reduced function of 4, which ends up being about 0.8 because it's 8 over 10. I mean, that's not about 0.8, it is 0.8. If I look at your erase marks, if you look at it, we have a vertical asymptote at minus 6, an x-intercept at 0, and here's some other fun values that I used just to make sure my graph was on point. Here it is. Something like that. Now, once you've made that graph, the next question you can answer. What's the range? The range is all x except, or maybe you should say all y, such that y equals to 0.8 and 0.2. I'd rather put y here, actually, but yeah, because we missed the whole and we missed the horizontal asymptote. Those are the two values we miss. Yep. Now, they're worth 30 points when the quiz was complete, so I'll think about how to grade it. I don't even know what, just give you the credit. Yeah. Nobody tell me anything.